Hello, namaste. Welcome, everyone. Dear friends, today we are going to talk about matters related to Hindu votes. Do you know why? Because Hindu votes matter. Hindu votes do matter a lot. In fact, Hindu votes absolutely matter. So, welcome to the special episode of Voter Education, specifically related to Hindu votes. According to a 2016 PEW Research Center report, Hindu Americans are the most highly educated religious group in America. Over 77% of Hindu Americans hold a college degree. Nearly half of Hindu American adults hold postgraduate degrees. Hindu Americans have one of the highest household incomes of all religious groups in America. They hold top leadership positions in major American companies. The Hindu American CEOs currently head US companies that earned over 450 billion in the last year. So we have with us today two esteemed members from Hindu Pact, which stands for Hindu Policy Research and Advocacy Collective. We have Rakhi Israni and Ajay Shah from Hindu Pact, who will provide the Hindu voters a guide to vote in the upcoming elections. Welcome, Ajay ji. Welcome, Rakhi ji. Namaste. It's a pleasure and a privilege to have you in our studio today, virtual studio, but it's great to have you both here. You have done a lot of work for Hindu Pact. So let me just tell our viewers a little bit about you. Dr. Ajay Shah, convener at Hindu Pact, he is the founder and convener of American Hindus Against Defamation, the very first initiative of Hindus to stand up against the misrepresentation of Hindu icons, culture, and way of life. Founder and convener of Hindu Policy Research and Advocacy Collective USA, which is Hindu Pact. He's also the co founder and CEO of Hindu Net, the first and most prominent Hindu website in the world, which paved the way for Hindu presence in the electronic media. So that was Ajay ji, and we also have Rakhi Israni, who is the executive director legal, and she has been actively involved in Hindu activities for most of her life. She was the first elected president of Hindu Students' Council, the first and the largest organization of Hindu students outside India. She is a member of the board for the Hindu American Political Action Committee. And Rakhi holds a BBA in international business, JD Law, and MBA degrees. She is an attorney by profession, and she lives in the San Francisco Bay Area with her husband and 4 kids. So welcome, Rakhi ji. Welcome, Ajay ji. I'm delighted to have you here. And the topic that we are going to talk about, voter education, is right now a very critical topic. And we are going to explore some more as to what is in it for a Hindu voter and what is it that they need to be aware of before they go out to vote. There's hardly any time left for the midterm elections. So my first question to you, that Hindu Pact has recently launched a tool for Indo-American and Hindu voters to educate them on the current candidates. So please help our audience understand what this tool is all about and how it can help the Hindu voters.
Ajay, would you like me to? All
Yes,
right.
please go ahead.
So this tool is, as you said, Hindu Americans are very successful. They're very well educated in this country. There's a saying that economic power without political power is basically suicide, and we've seen that through history. That as people are focused more on their own lives and on making money, the people around them, the politicians and the lawmakers, are actually making laws that affect them directly. And we're, as a community, the Hindu American community really needs to wake up that if we aren't there at the table, well, then we're on the menu, right? And so this Hindu vote is a tool to help focus votes on the issues, to educate our own community about what the issues are, what we should be focusing on. And then third is to encourage voting in our community in a very smart and efficient manner.
Ajay, would you
Yeah,
like to add to
just to
what
take it
Rakhi
off from
said?
what Rakhi just said and what you just mentioned in the beginning, right? Let me just present you with some statistics to tell you why Hindu vote matters. There are about 6 million Hindus in America today, and these are the Hindus who have come, through 1800s. Hindus have been migrating to the U.S. Initially in California as farm laborers, and then after the immigration opened up in the mid 60s or late 60s rather, in much larger numbers. And then when the in the last 20 years, the Hindu population has just expanded dramatically. So there's 6 million Hindus in America, and these include not just Hindus of Indian origin, but the Hindus from all countries around the world. There are Balinese Hindus, the Pakistani Hindus, Bangladeshi Hindus, the Hindus from Afghanistan who recently came to US because the persecution of Hindus in Afghanistan, the Hindus from Sri Lanka, you name it, the Hindus from African countries, and the Hindus from Southeast Asian countries. So there's 6 million Hindus. Now, if you look at the people who follow Sanatan Dharma, which includes Sikh Dharma, Buddha Dharma, Jain Dharma, there are another 6 million people who follow, just 6 million Buddhists, and about half a million Sikh and Jain combined. And so that makes it 12 million. And then you, on top of it, if you add people who follow Hindu practices and Hindu believe in the Hindu belief system, whether it is Ayurveda and yoga and the theory of karma and rebirth and all the key Hindu concept, that number is people that number is about another 8 million. There are 20 million people just doing yoga in America. Now, not all of them are Hindus, but certainly a lot of them believe in a lot of Hindu practices. And so we are talking about 20 million people in America today who, in some form or the other, and to some extent or the other, believe in Hindu Dharma. And they have no voice in American politics because nobody has actually given them an opportunity to have the voice. And so, what Hindu Vote does, and it's really entire credit to Rakhi and Utsav that they came up with this really fantastic idea, where we dabbled in it in 2020 elections, during presidential elections, and we were the first to actually organize a debate between the presidential campaigns. But this time we said, why don't we expand it to all the congressional districts and House of Representatives as well as Senate, and give Hindus an opportunity to look at the candidates from the Hindu perspective. And because then Hindus will be able to make an informed choice, and then the vote will matter. Just one more thing to add to that. And there are about 8 battleground states in America, give and take a couple of them, right? These are the states like Ohio and Michigan and Pennsylvania. I mean, these are the places, Florida, these are the places that actually end up deciding the elections. These are not the places where election is settled. For example, in a very liberal state like California, or a very conservative state like Alabama, it's pretty much a given who is going to win. But there are 8 battleground states, and if you look at the battleground states, Hindus are a significant minority in these states, and there in these states, the Hindu votes matter even more because Hindus will form the decisive majority. And that is why it is really important for Hindus to make an informed decision. And that's why the Hindu vote too.
So, Ajay, do you think that if this kind of a tool was available earlier, during the previous elections, it would have changed the course of the political. Uh, what do you say? I mean, the political environment, or the parties that have come to power, it would have been a different story.
I think, well, we would like to think so, but I would, to be really honest and candid, I would say that uh, for any tool to mature and people to adopt the tool and people to really, uh, you know, form their thinking on the basis of uh, collective data that Hindus have provided themselves, really takes 2 or 3 election cycles, but at least 2 election cycles, right? It's not, because people have to get used to the idea that their vote, that they're making this informed decision and not just based on the infomercials or commercials they hear on TV or radio or something they read in the newspaper. Here they're virtually they're talking to fellow Hindus. They're looking at their voting records. So there, it is really they're taking much more active interest in deciphering who is a better candidate from the Hindu perspective. And it's not just Hindu perspective. If you look at our questionnaire, which I'm sure Rakhi will talk about, there's some general questions there about economy, about hot button American issues. So I think we're trying to tell the voters that there is a different way to select a candidate rather than just looking at the debate on TV or reading about the candidate in a or rather learning about a candidate from the commercials.
So,
I'll just add to that, Anjalee. I mean, to answer your question, I think that it very well actually might have. If we had had this tool, I mean, Hindu Americans are so educated, they're so well off. If we can just get organized, and it's this whole thing, right? Like, if 5 separate fingers don't have very much power, but when you come together, it's very powerful. And I think the Hindu American community actually has the power to really make a huge difference in this country. And so the Hindu vote tool is really meant to do exactly that, right? Wake
I
up, right? And focus their attention.
So, question for you, Rakhi ji, what kind of research? And because I can imagine, this must have taken like extensive research for the entire team to come to a conclusion that which particular candidate is good for Hindus or is not good for Hindus, and to make that information available to anybody and everybody who is able to access the site. What kind of research did you guys do, and how did you come to this decision whether a candidate is good for a Hindu voter or not?
So the beauty of this site is that we're not telling anyone how to vote. I mean, we don't tell you who's good, who's bad. Everything is through like crowdsourcing data. The platform and all that's been created allows me as a Hindu American here in the Bay Area to go in and say my thoughts about the candidates that are running in my constituency, and anyone else in the same area can do the exact same thing to really give data points to those in the Bay Area that need to vote. And actually, I saw in the 2020 election, there were quite a few people that called and had no idea about any of the candidates that were running. And they would ask me, just tell me who to vote for. But like I said, I mean, here we don't even have to say, no, vote this or vote that. Just say, go look at the data and then make your own informed decision as to who to vote for.
Absolutely. So, Ajay mentioned that there is a questionnaire that you developed. So can you please walk us through to the questionnaire? What are the questions and how did you come up with those questions, and how it can help a Hindu voter make up their mind as to who is the right candidate for them?
Yes, sure, definitely. So the questionnaire kind of focuses on 8 to 10 various areas. About 6 or 7 are directly related to areas of interest that we generally operate in. So the first question is about Hindu hate. Whether an elected official feels they have a role in controlling it, or at least have a duty to make a statement. The second is about education and admissions policy. We see with a lot of in the very leftist, progressive, woke cultures in some states, you see this move away from merit-based education, which favors Asian Americans, Hindu Americans, Indian Americans much more, to a more race-based form of admission, which is detrimental to our community. So that's the second question. Third is about immigration policies, mostly about green cards for highly skilled. As we know that as it is right now, it could take up to a decade for someone from India who comes and works in a company to before they get an actual stable existence in this country. And that's definitely something that is of higher priority in our community. But the next couple of questions are about international human rights. As Anjalee ji, you and I had worked on the Chingari project, what's happening to little girls in Pakistan or in other countries, to see that whether the candidates feel that they have a duty to safeguard the interests and the well-being of citizens in other countries, of other religious minorities. Foreign policy, what is their view on the U.S.-India relationship? Where do they see it going? How do we strengthen it? And then the next three questions, one is, these are more of general interest areas to give people a more informed decision based on what's actually going on in the U.S. society. Environmental concerns, what do they think about? Some of the climate change and other policies that are being enacted. Gun control, right, which is a hot-button issue these days, and abortion. And so, to kind of put it all there so that anyone who's going to vote can then decide based on their own ideas as to whether to vote for this person or not.
I think this is a very, very comprehensive questionnaire that you have put together. It basically targets each and every aspect of, in the life of a Hindu voter. So at least, in the that's something that will impact their personal lives. And of course, talking about human rights or other policies, there are definitely people like me also existing within the Hindu voters who will be concerned about these issues. I think, this is really a great tool. And let me tell you, I did try to go on that tool. And viewers, it's just as simple as putting your zip code in there. But I would request either Rakhi ji or Ajay ji to walk us through, or walk our voters through as to what they need to do. Once they enter that site, the URL is given to them. So what are the steps? So if you can, just give us a step-by-step demo if possible.
Sure. So the way the website works is when you click on hinduvote.org, in the very top part of the page, you'll see a graphics about Hindu Vote. And under that, it says that to access the voters guide for 2022 elections, click here. And that will take you to a special subsite for the 2022 elections. It's elections2022.hinduvote.org. That is the website it will take you to. Now you'll see the very first thing you'll see there is a place where you can enter your address and your zip code. When you enter your address, it will automatically give you a zip code. You click enter, and it will take you to a page which lists all the candidates in your constituency. So you'll have a listing of all the candidates for House of Representatives. It will have all the candidates for US Senate. When you click on one of the candidates in your area, you will see on the right hand side, you will see the biography of, on the very top, you'll see the photo of the candidate, the name of the candidate, and if we have direct contact information available, such as email or phone number, and some of the other, like their social media handles, you will see it there. On the right hand side, you will see the bio of the candidate, and right under that, you will see a voter survey. This is the voters. What this voter survey is for you as a voter in that constituency, a way to express your view of the candidate. So there are really only 5 questions there where you can say what do you, and you rate the candidate on a scale of 1 to 5. And these are questions such as how, in your opinion, for example, it will say, how involved has this candidate been with the Hindu American community? So, you go to your mandir, you go to your, cultural gatherings, and has this candidate ever shown up? So that shows that the candidate is really interested in getting to know the constituents in his or her constituency. The second question is, do you think that this candidate appreciates the value of Hindu American community? Now we are celebrating Hindu Heritage Month, and we are telling people all the contributions that Hindu Americans are making to the American society and enriching the American society. Is this candidate, in your view, aware of the contributions? The third question is, do you believe that this candidate would advocate for a stronger US India relations? And if you know it, you can say yes or no, or on a scale of 1 to 5. The fourth question is, do you believe that this candidate is aware of and appreciates the growing level of hate being directed at Hindu American community? Now, in recent times, we had this instance at Fremont, California, where a Hindu at a Taco Bell got insulted. We had an incident in Dallas, a suburb of Dallas rather, where a group of 4 women were insulted on the street near a restaurant. We had mandirs that were vandalized in recent times. So do you think that this candidate is aware of all these things that are going on, that there's increased amount of Hindu hate? We had this Dismantle Global Hindutva conference. So is this candidate generally aware of that? And the fifth question is this candidate likely to promote merit-based educational opportunity? So these are the crowdsourced questions, and you say on a scale of 1 to 5, how good or bad this candidate is going to be on these particular issues that are hot button Hindu issues. The next section is all the responses that we get from the candidates for the questions that Rakhi mentioned earlier. And the final section is the 4 votes that we have picked in the last Congress. And we have, as Hindu Pact, we have evaluated the candidate if they were in the Congress, and we have said, was their vote on these 4 issues favorable towards Hindus or not favorable? And that constitutes a complete voter guide, where one is a complete crowdsourced questionnaire, other is candidates' own answers, and the third is our view of their votes in the Congress.
This is such an excellent piece of information, because it looks like you have all the data points required for all kinds of Hindu voters. There are some that may not be even aware of all these issues. They do not even know whether or not it will impact them. I myself have talked to quite a few, and it doesn't look like they have the slightest of clue that how some of these matters are eventually going to impact them, even if it is not now. So I think this will be very helpful to all the Hindu voters, if they need to know about it. I have just one more question that I actually asked a couple of my friends to go and take a look at the site, to enter their zip code, and they were able to find the information that they needed. But for one zip code, we had a slight issue, and I know that you do have a technical team, but who can they actually reach out for help? I mean, I am still familiar with the Hindu Pact team, but if those voters who are not familiar, if they are having technical difficulties, who would they reach out to?
They can write to info@hindupact.org. That's
Info at
info at hindupact.org.
hindupact.org. Okay. Info at hindupact.org. Viewers, please take a note of this site, because this is really, really important information for you. Please go ahead, Ajay.
No, I would turn it over to Rakhi, because she has really thought through this in depth. So Rakhi, your further comments from you.
No, I think it's it's like we talked about earlier. It's a tool that will really help our community get organized, increase the power that we hold within ours, and I hope that people will take the time to use it and share their comments about the candidates for the benefit of everyone else in the community.
Absolutely. This is a great job that you people have done for the community. And, at least voters like me and quite a few of my friends, colleagues, associates have been looking for this information. And they have been wondering, is there a one-stop place where they can go and just find out about their voters. And now I can tell them that Hindu Pact is one such organization where you can have access to their voter education information, specifically which is going to impact you and your children um, in the near future. So Rakhi ji and Ajay ji, I would just request you to wait for just a couple of more minutes, because will have Ramya ji from Bharat Heritage Organization, who is going to join us from Phoenix, Arizona. So welcome, Ramya ji. So
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. I will just give a brief introduction about Ramya ji. Ramya Ranganathan Srinivas. She is a dancer, a choreographer, a guru, organizer, and promoter of youth talent, and she is the propagator of Devin Nrityam, experience of the inner exploration, a divine form of dance as derived from the Vedas and Agamas. Ramya Ranganathan is the creative arts director of Amba Anandeshwari Kalayale, Arizona Wing, where numerous students and aspiring performers of the future generations are trained and promoted as performers in Devanrityam and Bharatnatyam. And she's also the founder of YADA, Youth Artists Development Association, that empowers youth artists to stay passionate in their art forms. In 2021, she founded BHO, the Bharat Heritage Organization, based on the directives and vision of the Kanchimat Acharya Jagadguru Sri Vijayendra Saraswati. And this is to protect, preserve, and propagate Sanatan Dharma. Ramya ji, she's by profession an engineer, and she has a master's in electronics engineering from the University of Southern California, and with a specialization in multimedia and creative arts technology. She's employed at Intel currently, and she is wearing the validation architect hat for Internet of Things group at Intel. She loves traveling, spending time with her husband and three kids. So, Ramya ji, welcome. Would you like to say a few words about BHO?
Thank you so much, Anjali ji, for this beautiful opportunity
Right.
to present in front of the esteemed people. Um, before I say anything about myself, as a founder and the director for the Bharat Heritage Organization, I would like to present this beautiful award from BHO, the Bharat Heritage Organization, to the Hindu Pact for their extraordinary work that they have been doing in helping with the proclamation by our honorable government of Arizona, Mr. Doug Ducey, that the October 2022 is the Hindu Heritage Month. And this is one of the main reason why the Bharat Heritage Organization did the cultural carnival just to celebrate the Heritage Month in this October during the Navaratri season. So I'm extremely grateful for the Hindu Pact presence at the Bharat Heritage Organization's cultural carnival. And I would like to congratulate the Hindu Pact for coming up with the education tool. Just we talked about that, for helping and educating the Hindu voters, and also for introducing the 1971 resolution in the Congress for the declaration of the 1971 massacre of Hindus as a genocide. It's very, very significant, and you guys are doing excellent, amazing job. And this is for Rakhi ji, Utsav ji, and Ajay ji. I'm presenting this, but it's for the entire Hindu Pact team, and Bharat Heritage Organization is very, very grateful for all the work that you're doing. So.
Thank you so much, Ramya ji. This is very well deserved.
Thank you.
And Ajay ji, Rakhi ji, please at least virtually receive this,
Thank
receive
you
this
very much. It's a,
award.
since you told us at the beginning that this is blessed by Kanchi Acharya, this is, it's not just a plague, but it's actually a blessing from Kanchi Acharya. And I had the privilege of going to Kanchipuram and meeting the Pariya Pariva, so I am I'm really grateful that to receive this blessing, Rakhi.
I was about to say that because this logo, the BHO, is designed by Kanchi Periva, His Holiness Vijayendra Saraswati Swamigal, and the B stands for the bow of Rama, and the H is actually in
Ajay,
the form
sorry
of.
to interrupt, but can you hold it a little higher because we are not able to see that?
Now we
Okay,
can
yes,
see.
that's better. A little more.
Okay,
Just
like
a
this.
little more. Yes, that's right.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So, and the H stands for uh, the the banyan roots and the tree, and the heritage is supposed to grow like that banyan tree roots. And the O stands for the Dharma Chakram, the Sanatana Dharma, and it is specifically designed to be in gray color because it's neutral between the gray and the neutral color of gray between the extremes black and white. So that's what we are promoting as part of this Bharat Heritage Organization. So this is for you, a very, very well deserved, and I'm very honored to present this award.
Thank you.
So my congratulations to the entire Hindu Pact team. Utsavji is not here. Unfortunately, his daughter is not well. But Ajay ji, Rakhi ji, and the entire Hindu Pact team just, very well deserving, just as deserving. And congratulations to you. And I think in the coming years, the future generations, they will realize the amount of work that this team has put in. This is one team which is always, they work behind the scenes. They are very low profile. They don't talk about what they do. Utsav ji is one example, and so is Ajay ji, Rakhi ji. Till today, I did not even know that Rakhi ji has made, such a, such huge contribution to the voter education side because none of them ever talk about themselves. And that's why I think that I'm very honored to have you here and very well deserved this thank from Bharat Heritage Organization. Thank you so much, both of you. It was
Thank you.
wonderful having you
Namaste.
in this show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay and
Namaste.
Rakhi. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. So, Ramya ji, it's you and me now. And I am actually very much intrigued and I'm very interested in knowing more about Bharat Heritage Organization. I had the privilege of attending the carnival that you had arranged and you had organized. I think it was the middle of the month of October. So before we get to that, please help me and help our viewers understand that how and why was Bharat Heritage Organization formed?
Yeah, yeah, sure, Anjali ji. In fact, I was thinking that Hindu Pact being such a profound organization, and how the Hindu Pact made its presence at the Bharat Heritage Cultural Carnival, it itself is like a very divine coincidence. That's how I feel even today when I think about it. So why this Bharat Heritage Organization need to be formed, right? So these are the words that were directly blessed by Kanchi Periva, Vijayendra Swamigal, when he came in the during the COVID pandemic in the Zoom session and addressed the Arizona and then the worldwide crowd. So this is what he told, right? If we take the topic of social upliftment or development, right, how we can perceive it or how we can measure it and what we can measure it, right? In this world, there are few who think that this is the right time to monetize the money or start a new business or enter the politics at the global level, right? But the reality is there is a lot of inconvenience that have already occurred to the world by the world, and this pandemic is one big example. And it is not just to an individual or a community, but it is like at the global scale. And there is ashanti, right? That there is turbulence, there is internal conflict, and that my viewpoint is highest, right? Instead of the thought that I am relying on the world, many are having the feeling that the world is relying on them, And in the former mindset, right, there is a feeling of being part of the world's growth. Like there is a sense of gratitude, responsibility, and belonging, and there is some sense of duty towards the world, right, towards, and that is what Sanatana Dharma foundations are, the principles are, right. But in the latter case, if you see, the attitude is more towards that, hey, world belongs to them, right. And let us acquire the resources, and and let's take the benefit of others. So there are so much of personality conflicts that are happening. And for this reason, the dharma pracharam is important. It is not sufficient to be done at the city level or village level or a community level, not even at the nation level, right, but it has to be done at the global level. And the reason being that there is a very high impact to the world, not only just to India, right, but the Indian diaspora across the world, right. And there is a lot of influence, internet, and we know everything, that there is happening. And so there is awakening that's happening at different scales, right? Like Hindu Pact and several organizations are doing it, right. But what Bo is specifically focused is, kids are getting impacted. Kids confidence level is getting impacted, right. They think that our nation or our religion or our beliefs are not as important, or even if it is important, it has only limited scope in impacting the rest of the community, right. And we are not as independent as other communities, right. So the fact that it is better that everyone, including others, also understand that this is a much needed movement at this point in time. Like kids should see that, they shouldn't see that their community or their tradition and customs and heritage is just like one pillar, but they should be able to see like thousands of pillars, like lifting the temple, with its might, right. We want the kids to see that mighty temple and not just that one pillar of the temple, right. That's why we want to have that Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, right, which is that the world is one family, right, as specified in our shastrams, right. It should be taken to all the nations. The dharma pracharam needs to be propagated to the entire world. This movement, this propagation, this pracharam is what Bo is focusing on. In those days, Swami Vivekananda mentioned everybody as brothers and sisters to the world crowd, right. And it is told in our Bhagavad Gita also, like sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhavet. So with this vision, direction, guidance and blessings of Kanchi Kamakoti Pitadipati, His Holiness Jagadguru Shankara Vijayendra Saraswati Swamigal, a much needed movement has started. Bharat Heritage Organization is a non-profit headquartered in USA. And it is formed with the ideals of preserving, protecting, and propagating our culture, traditions, heritage, with one mission and vision that we are all one family. So that is the main motivation behind the Bharat Heritage Organization.
It's a very important point that you have actually you're communicating, or I would say that Shankaracharya ji is communicating through you that Sanatan Dharma, as we say, and whatever little I know about Sanatan Dharma, that it is very inclusive. It's inclusive of the entire humanity. It's not a regimented religion. It is something which anybody and everybody can follow, as long as they are born in a human form, because it's a certain way of life where you love others, you are unselfish. And so I'm really glad, and I think we are very blessed that we have such great souls like Shankaracharya ji of Kanchi, who take interest in whatever is happening in this world, and they're giving their blessings. And not only that, they're showing us the direction as to what is the right path to follow, and they're showing the direction to the humanity. So my next question to you, Ramya ji, I was actually going to ask you what is its mission for the future, but to some extent you did answer that question, that what is the mission, what is your mission for the future. But maybe I just want you to be a little more specific as to what are the steps that your organization is planning on taking, where we can involve the children, or we can involve the rest of the Hindu community who wants to know more about their religion, or who are a little lost, or who don't feel that sense of identity with the Hindu religion, because it is so vast. Everybody has got their own set of beliefs, and Sanatan Dharma, as we all know, it allows everybody to follow their own belief system. Even it welcomes an atheist to be a part of its system, because it honors everybody's belief system. But specifically from Swami Shankaracharyaji's point of view, what are the steps you or your organization is planning to take, specifically in Arizona, where you can spread this message?
Definitely. So we want to create a world that stands on the dharmic principles, right? So mainly we are trying to having several initiatives to ingrain the knowledge and greatness of the Sanatana Dharma and our rich Bharat heritage to the next generation. And while doing that, we as an adults also expand our knowledge and enhance our way of living in the process. You rightly told just before that Sanatana Dharma is the way of living, right? How we can, in order to ingrain Sanatana Dharma, we have to live the life of a Sanatana dharmic person, right? How do we bring in some of the initiatives? Because it's not only the belief system. I think this current generation, we are also being challenged by the different priorities and the different environment we are in, right? Like we want to celebrate Diwali, but we don't have a holiday to celebrate, for example. It poses a lot of challenges in a multi faceted environment and things like that, right? So how do we bring in that Sanatana dharmic way of living, right, while we are also in a diaspora kind of a environment? So Bo focuses on like O4C formula, which is basically like it is to create an opportunity or a platform to cultivate the confidence, the cooperation and coexistence of the Sanatana Dharma. Then through that we attain the social harmony. So this is the main goal or mission, and through that is one of the outcome of this focus of this Bharat Heritage Organization is the cultural carnival that we talked about, where the youth can see in one go the different pillars of our big grand temple, like 1,000 pillar temple, which is like you see like just the Navaratri festival being celebrated in southern India, in Gujarati, or even in the like in the West Bengal area. I mean, the different flavors, how everything kind of ties together, how the youth can somehow strike the unity in that, even if there is a diverse things happening, right? We want to promote that. And we also are launching the Bo Yatra, which is like the tour to the temples of USA, where we are taking the kids. This is, by the way, not just Arizona. We are launching it across USA, where temples are a very, very core part of our belief system. Because these organizations like Bo, they are creating opportunities and platform, but day to day where the heritage and culture are being kept alive is the temples. So we want to bring temples as a very, very sustained revenue model, and we want to have a lot of youth participation in the temples. So we want to make it as a rich place to propagate the traditions and culture and heritage. So we are starting this Christmas holidays, we are having like this 1 week long tour to the temples of Arizona, and we will send out the registration details soon, and we can all participate and have a great time there.
Well, congratulations on such a great effort. And viewers, I must tell you that I had the privilege of attending the 3 day carnival by Bharat Heritage Organization. And it was really a sight to behold because Ramya ji and her team had put together such an exclusive variety program where all the states of India were represented and all the communities were represented. And this happened first time in the history of Arizona where they celebrated the Hindu Heritage Month. So uh, we really have to be very thankful to Ramya ji for, and of course, the Shankaracharya ji for initiating such a big movement where we don't forget and we don't let our future generations forget the rich cultural heritage that we belong to. And again, when we talk about Sanatan Dharma, as you rightly said, that it's not just about religion. It's just about living life in a dharmic way or in a righteous way. So I'm really very grateful to you, Ramya ji. It's very nice to hear whatever the words that you're speaking. It's music to my ears. But whatever whatever I said about the 3 day carnival was my impression. I would like to hear from you that why don't you tell us something about the 3 day carnival? What did it entail, and what was the message you were trying to give by including all the communities and all the states of India, and how was the experience?
Wow, it was a very rewarding experience, because this carnival is a concept, it's an ideation, but how it actually practically transformed into reality and how the collaboration happened, because that is the base and foundation for the Bharat Heritage Organization, not to start a whole new endeavor, but it is to collaborate with the existing communities and organizations who have been doing excellent work and bring them in one platform so that it promotes more collaboration in a more positive direction, similar to what we were having about the voter ed tool that we had the discussion just before. So one of the main propellant for having this carnival right in the October month. So it happened October 1st and 2nd, and that is because of the Hindu Pact's work that was very, very instrumental in getting the October month 2022 as the Hindu Heritage Month. So we wanted, this is a Bharat Heritage Organization, so we want to felicitate the embracing religion, that is our Hindu religion. So we wanted to have this beautiful carnival. It's a mega mela, so we want to showcase our rich and diverse culture uh, and heritage, but in one umbrella, so that when the youth come and visits this kind of a setting, there is a huge positive message and reinforcement that is going to the youth. That is the main thing. And also, like I was telling, providing the platform for all these different organizations to be felicitated, to collaborate and coordinate and cultivate that sense of togetherness and coexistence. And it is a unique offering of Bharat Heritage Organization, because it is not just an awareness. I know there are a lot of festivals happening, global festivals happening around the city, around the world, but this is little bit more tied to the culture and heritage. So people can actually go and experience, not just show, it's not just a showcase, but kids can go and experience these different cultures, especially for youth. This is very, very important, because initially I was talking about the confidence level in the youth, that then they are not they shouldn't see themselves as a minority. They are the one small piece of a big puzzle that they can't even visualize, right? That is the impact that they should be seeing when they walk out of the carnival. And this is also that, like, Navratri is a very very important one of the main festival time, where different parts of the Bharat celebrate in a very very unique way. Like Gujarati celebrate in a with a dance and music like Garba and Dandiya. Then Bengali celebrate as a big Durga Puja, like a 3-day festival. And the southern part of India, they celebrate like a Gauri Ganesha, or they will celebrate like a doll display, and they chant Vedams, Lalita Sahasranamams and all. So there is like so much of everything around the same time, right? So this is a beautiful sight to witness. um, and we was very very thankful, because we got all the different organizations, several Indian organizations. It's like an amalgamation of a festive celebration of varied cultures and traditions. And it was a fun thing to just experience and be there.
Thank you so much, Ramya ji, for coming in our show and for enlightening our audience and conveying to everyone the message from Shankaracharya ji of Kanchi. And we are very grateful that he's taking personal interest in the growth and development and evolution of the future generation. So thank you so much for all that you are doing for the community. I really, really appreciate your efforts.
Thank you so much, Anjali ji. One thing I wanted to also mention, that we did award like a Bo Heritage Ambassador Award to the Harikatha exponent, Guru Srimati Vishaka Hari, and also we awarded the Bo Director for History and Research to the Professor Shri Nilesh Neelkant Oak, and the Director for Arts and Agamas as Dr. Ranjani Ganeshan Ramesh. And this has been felicitated and being appreciated by the Mayor of Chandler, Mr. Kevin Hartke, for gracing this occasion, and being that crown in that entire cultural carnival. So I thank the Mayor for respecting our invitation and being present there. So it meant a lot. So once again, thank you, Anjali ji, for all your support during the event, and also like for bringing me to this beautiful interview and discussion with you.
It's our privilege. It's our privilege. Thank you so much, Ramya ji, and hoping to see more of you and your organization on the coming shows at Bharat TV.
Definitely. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. So I would like to thank Ramya ji's organization for their contribution to Sanatan Dharma. Ramya ji's organization is committed to showcasing and reviving our Indian cultural heritage. Ramya ji herself is very dedicated to this cause, and she has been working tirelessly to achieve this goal. They are doing such an awesome job. A rich civilization that is under threat of annihilation. I'm talking about Sanatan Dharma. It is under threat of annihilation by so many negative forces. And that is being preserved by such blessed souls. So, with this, dear viewers, I wish you have a wonderful day, and we will soon be coming up with many such interesting topics only on Bharat TV. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.